Welcome to Cultural Entropy. This is going to be a quick book review for The Witcher Sword of Destiny. I am a video game fan. I am familiar with the series as a whole. I have also already read The Witcher, The Last Witch, and the Blood of Elves. So this would be the third book in the series that I've read. I think this is probably the second best one behind Last Wish so far. I think Blood of Elves is very odd. It's more of a prologue than it is actually relevant. The three books together, this is another anthology of short stories. It does not have a bridge tale that stitches them all together. I think that Blood of Elves, The Last Wish, and Sword of Destiny should be combined together. And if they had more of a cohesive overall story, they would work. There is kind of a over under theme for Sword of Destiny that does make it all work together in the end when you get to the end of the book. Again, there are 6 stories. The Bounds of Reason, which is about Geralt going after a dragon. A Shard of Ice, which is Geralt and Yennefer. Eternal Flame, which I thought was the weakest one overall in the story, about Shapeshifter. A Little Sacrifices about like Geralt and a mermaid, I guess you could put it. There's also a love interest in that one that's not Yennefer. It works together. A Sword of Destiny is Ciri, his Geralt's surrogate daughter, and then Something More is again more Ciri stuff, sort of. It all works together. A lot of it has to do with Geralt's relationship with his paramour Yennefer, and his relationship with his destined daughter Ciri. And these things go together. They're really important down the line to be able to understand the series. Again, as a video game fan, I understand where things are going. So like I could definitely see like it's really important if you're just going to get into the novel to go back and understand like how important these relationships, why they function the way that they do with Yennefer and Ciri. Overall, by the end of Sword of Destiny, I did like it better than Last Wish because of how it builds to the ending that it gets to. But I thought Last Wish overall was stronger. I didn't think there was anything weak about the short stories in Last Wish in the way that definitely I think Eternal Flame was kind of the weakest, and then some of the other ones take a little bit of time to get going overall. That would be my general thought about this. Again, overall as a series, Blood of Elves is more of a prologue, and then the harder part is as the audience understanding the relationship and the world that's going on. Like these 3 books really so far should be read together, and that's kind of what makes them difficult. I don't know if they should be read entirely by themselves, if that makes any sense. Like almost to the extent with Blood of Elves, like I would read Sword of Destiny and Blood of Elves at the same time. There are some parts of Blood of Elves that just are definitely exposition, and they were definitely losing my desire to read the series. By the end of Sword of Destiny, I am ready to read the next book in the series. But which is something that after Blood of Elves, I was not looking forward to. I think it's a Trial by Fire or something like that is the next book in the series. But I am looking forward to, or Time of Contempt, I believe it is. But I am looking forward now to reading the next book in the series. I went from being a little disappointed to having some enthusiasm. I think that would be the best way to go. My bigger thoughts, because I think this is the direction I want to take the channel, is talking about storytelling and pop culture, and the relationship between culture and storytelling, and why it's important, to have that cohesion in order to have a strong culture going forward, a robust culture that is worth saving. In this case, with Sapkowski, the author, there are parts of this that make me feel similar to myself when it comes to trying to write novels again. And I was listening to a podcast the other day talking about the difference in the skill between writing short stories and writing novels, and thinking back to reading George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire series. He is a short story writer where he definitely structures his novels in such a regard that he's not as concerned with the totality of the series and as much as the impact of the individual chapters. And I think that's what's going on with Sapkowski and the Witcher is the 3 books that I've read so far, the Last Wish and the short stories in the Last Wish and the Sword of Destiny. This is all backstory, and this is all backstory that should be written in exposition in the first act as a skilled writer, understanding the relationship between Geralt and Yennefer, his paramour, and Ciri, his surrogate daughter. This is something that you would do in the first act. This is what you do, building the status quo in the first act of a series or of the story, so you can get into the meat and potatoes of the second act, and that's where everything gets moving. There's change going on. You're building tension, all that good stuff that makes storytelling work. And so far, in order for Sapkowski to get my attention, he's had 2 anthology short story books and then another prologue in order for me to get to the second book in the series where now I'm invested. And that's a lot of homework to get to the possibility that your second book of the series is going to actually keep my attention and build my desire, my tension to be invested in your series towards the end. And that would probably be my biggest critique so far. As much as I like Geralt and I like the building conflict relationship with him and Yennefer and the world and his relationship with Ciri, it's taken 1,000 pages of a kind of a non sequitur, incoherent patchwork of short stories and exposition to get there. And that's going to be the roughest thing about if you're interested in the series or writing in general. What my critique would be, my kind of my thoughts would be prepared that there's a lot of, you have to want to put a lot of investment into something that should feel very straightforward. Right now I'm reading the first book of The Expanse, and I already put 150 pages in to the first book when I only expected to read the first 20 pages. So this is a cohesive story. It builds on itself. I do think there's some critiques to it overall, but it doesn't need 1,000 pages of exposition to get me into the story because it's being spoon-fed to me as I go along. That is good skill as a writer. So anyway, that's my quick book review of Sword of Destiny, The Witcher, and hopefully I'll be back by the end of the week with the Expanse, Leviathan Wakes. Yeah,